Welcome, everyone. Today we're diving into one of the most celebrated aspects of classic bodybuilding, the V-taper. This aesthetic quality is all about that pronounced shoulder-to-waist ratio, giving the physique that broad-shouldered, narrow-waisted look that makes bodybuilders stand out. I'll be sharing my top 5 picks for the best classic V-tapers in professional bodybuilding history. Spotlighting legends like Steve Reeves, Brian Buchanan, Serge Nubret, Frank Zane, and Bob Paris. Then, I'll discuss how abdominal control, AB work, and the practice of vacuums are vital for achieving and highlighting this iconic look. Let's jump in. Starting with one of the pioneers of the V-taper, we have Steve Reeves. Known for his role as Hercules, Reeves is one of the original inspirations for the ideal male physique. His proportions and symmetry were ahead of his time, with broad shoulders, a narrow waist, and a balanced yet athletic build. His measurements were impressive, with a shoulder-to-waist ratio that created a stunning silhouette. Reeves had the perfect combination of symmetry, aesthetics, and strength, setting the standard for the classic look we all admire today. His dedication to developing his back, shoulders, and abs made him a true icon of the golden era. Next up is Brian Buchanan, arguably one of the most extreme examples of the V-taper in bodybuilding history. Buchanan's waist was unbelievably tiny, and his broad shoulders made it seem even narrower. His taper was almost cartoonish, especially when he hit poses like the front lat spread or a relaxed front stance. Buchanan is often considered the bodybuilder with the smallest waist-to-shoulder ratio, making his physique unforgettable. His structure highlighted how genetics can enhance the V-taper, but he also put in serious work to develop a balanced physique with a strong focus on his upper body and midsection control. Serge Nubret was known as the Black Panther and brought a powerful mix of aesthetics and charisma to the stage. Nubret's physique was both artistic and athletic. He didn't rely on sheer mass. Instead, he used conditioning, symmetry, and that small waist to bring his physique to life. His V-taper came from his wide clavicles and full lats paired with his tight midsection. Nubret was also famous for his ab work, and his abdominals were so well defined that they added to the illusion of a narrower waist, making his V-taper stand out even more. He proved that conditioning and shape could be just as impressive as raw size. Frank Zane is probably the most famous example of classic aesthetics in bodybuilding. He wasn't the biggest, but his attention to detail and his iconic V-taper made him a 3-time Mr. Olympia champion. Zane's physique was built around proportions, symmetry, and razor-sharp conditioning. His waist was incredibly small, and his lat spread and wide shoulders gave him an impressive V-taper. What made Zane's taper even more memorable was his mastery of posing and his control over every muscle, especially his abdominals. Zane knew how to use vacuums to create that deep, hollowed-out look in his midsection, which made his waist appear even tighter. His physique was proof that you don't need extreme mass to stand out on the Olympia stage. Finally, we have Bob Paris, a bodybuilder known for his aesthetic perfection and posing finesse. Bob Paris had a physique that could almost be described as beautiful, with a flowing, symmetrical structure and a V-taper that looked sculpted. His clavicles were broad and his waist was incredibly tight, making his lats and shoulders pop in every pose. Paris was also known for his dedication to classic posing, using every aspect of his physique to create an artistic display of aesthetics. His midsection control and AB development were essential in highlighting his V-taper. He made posing an art form, using each transition to emphasize his physique's flow and symmetry. One thing all these legends have in common is their abdominal control and midsection mastery. Let's break down why this is so important for creating that ideal V-taper. Abdominal control. When you have control over your core, you can manipulate your midsection to look as narrow as possible. Bodybuilders use their core not just for strength, but to accentuate their physiques through posing. When these athletes control their abdominals, they can hold poses longer, maintain better posture, and emphasize their V-taper more effectively. Two, ab work. Strengthening the core through AB work is crucial because it adds that muscular density and definition that make the waist appear tight. Exercises like hanging leg raises, cable crunches, and Russian twists develop a core that's not just strong, but also aesthetically pleasing. Well-defined abs create sharp lines that add to the illusion of a smaller waist, which enhances the V-taper. 3. Vacuums. Practicing vacuums is a key technique in creating a smaller, tighter midsection. By pulling in the transverse abdominis, the muscle layer deep in the abdomen, bodybuilders can create a hollowed-out look that makes the waist appear smaller. Vacuums require intense core engagement and control, which takes a lot of practice to master. When executed well, this skill is incredibly effective at making the torso appear narrower and creating that exaggerated V shape. So there you have it, my top 5 classic V-tapers in bodybuilding. Steve Reeves, Brian Buchanan, Serge Nubret, Frank Zane, and Bob Paris. Each of these athletes had an impressive shoulder-to-waist ratio, but they also dedicated time to abdominal control, core training, and mastering the vacuum. Their V-tapers weren't just a result of genetics or training one body part. It was about creating a balanced, well-controlled physique that told a story through every pose. The V-taper continues to inspire bodybuilders today, and if you're looking to build a similar aesthetic, remember to focus not only on developing your back and shoulders, but also on controlling your midsection and practicing those vacuums. It's a combination of muscle, control, and art. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to keep training smart and always prioritize aesthetics alongside strength.